old SB 260 application forward in front of our regulatory amendments.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay.
Hold on a second.
No, it's okay.
I'm recording this, Hannah.
Yes, thank you.
I know. You have perfect judgment about this. Don't count on me to tell you when to start and when not to start, okay? You do
I
it.
just don't want to get in trouble.
It's only if you keep filming when the meeting's over and we're having private conversation.
No.
Aren't you a videographer? Can't you edit it out?
I guess I'll just figure that out.
Never mind.
Okay, finally, and thank you for your great patience. Who's going to speak first? Karen.
Yes. Hi, good evening. I'm me. The other Karen. Good evening. I'm Karen Doblin. I'm the president of the board of the Little Guild, and I want to thank you all so much. Your patience is something I aspire to. I really appreciate your time tonight. I have with me Chris Nardi, who is our architect from Silver Piccicelli, and I have Greg Lockcheek, who's our engineer from Benesh Engineering. I'm holding a picture of the exterior. Just in brief, we are planning to raise our current building, knock it down, and build not on the same footprint, but sort of right on top of where the old building was. And this is what it's going to look like, except for the asphalt parking lot. That's not going to be part of it, but these were just some architectural renderings to give you an idea. So Chris will make a really brief presentation given the hour, and Greg also, and then you can ask questions, or you can start right out with questions, however you'd like to go.
Go ahead. Okay, thank you. The new facility that we're proposing is roughly 8,000 square feet. It's situated approximately the same distance from Sharon Goshen Turnpike as the current facility, meaning the front of that building. The rendering that you're looking at, the left-hand side would be the front of the building facing Sharon Goshen Turnpike, as well as this face. The building itself is metal panel siding, metal roof, so low maintenance, sustainable materials. All of our lights, we have building mounted farm style gooseneck pendants, and then LED pole lights for the parking area. Those are all full cutoff, and we have a photometric plan within this set that displays we're not spilling light over the property line. In terms of the parking area, we've made some updates since the application initially went in. With discussions with the owner and the CEO, we've pivoted from, am I doing something wrong with this thing?
No, it's just because I'm working.
Okay. I don't need to stand over there. We pivoted from a bituminous parking lot to a gravel parking lot, except for the apron that we assume will be required by OSTA to be bituminous. But in general, I'm going to leave it to you, given the hour, as Karen said, to ask any questions. And I'm going to have Greg touch briefly on some of the civil items, such as the stormwater and septic.
Could I just add a couple of things?
Of course.
Probably didn't get this from me today. I did not get your permit out for wetlands. You know that you have your wetlands permit as of last week. It was signed off as an upland review by myself, and all the information about floodplain given to us by Michael Sconyers to an email to the Wetlands Commission, so that you're completely clear in terms of wetlands. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could you state your full name again so I can catch it this time?
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Greg Lockcheek, and I am representing Will Walters, who's a professional engineer in the state of Connecticut at Alfred Benesh & Company. Looking back to the grading and drainage plan, so here we are proposing a large detention basin towards the, here we're proposing a large detention area located on the bottom right of the plan near the building. This will be taking in flow from all impervious areas on site, and we'll be treating that water within that pond before it gets discharged into Mill Brook. Here is our utility plan, and we are showing our septic system located here in our parking lot, and we are given all the required separation distances for the stormwater and for the drinking water well, which will be located here at the corner of the property. Essentially, that's all I really have to talk about for the civil design. It's a very simple site as far as projects we typically work on. Regarding the flood zone, there were some concerns about the flood zone and the proximity to Mill Brook. So the way we addressed that was we were picking up the elevation from the existing building by about 5.5 feet. This is a conservative professional assumption made by our company to determine where the floodplain actually lies, because as the flood line is shown, not on this plan, but on some of our other sheets. Yeah, right here, perfect. It's going directly up the hill, which, if anyone's aware of how flood zones work, typically they follow a contour line.
You should be okay.
FEMA has not done a study on the Mill Brook here, so we don't have any profiles or an actual elevation of that floodplain. But we are accounting for that by having our building 5.5 feet up higher, which is 1.5 foot higher than we're presuming the 100-year floodplain elevation is at.
How are you achieving that? Are you bringing in extra cut and fill?
Correct. Under that 100-year floodplain elevation, we have a net cut in our total site excavation on that portion of the site, which is under that 4 feet above the existing finished floor elevation. Additionally, that's done by raising up the whole site here using this retaining wall, which will be screened with some additional vegetations.
Do you know offhand the approximate cubic volume that you'd be bringing on site for the ability of achieving that 5-foot elevation difference?
No, but I don't know the exact numbers. I wasn't actually the one who performed the cut fill analysis, but with this large cut into the slope here, I'm assuming that a lot of that will fill up this area, and we will likely need some material brought in, but we're hoping a lot of the imports, such as whatever subgrade we need and the retaining wall and additional utilities and drenching, that will also bring an additional import that will not be accounted for in just regular earthwork.
Is there a cellar in that existing building? Is there a cellar in the existing building?
No,
It's on slab.
correct.
Yes, we've moved into the commission question phase. Are you gentlemen ready to face the questioning?
Fire away.
We're finally doing it.
And I will begin. How many square feet is the current building?
Roughly 3,500 square feet, I believe.
No, the whole thing, I think,
The current
The
building?
current building?
The current building, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe it's between 3,500 and 4,000 square feet.
And what is so you've got proposed building elevation of 790.
Correct.
So current building elevation first floor.
The current building steps, but where you enter the building, within that floodplain is 785 and a half.
Are those retention walls going to be on the property line?
That is a question I have as well.
Yes, they are currently shown as abutting the property line.
My recommendation would just be to set them maybe at least 5 feet so that for the purpose of maintenance that you don't need to trespass in order to get to the back of the wall should anyone ever need to access the retaining walls. And I think the well might be extremely close. Again, should anyone need to approach the well for any purpose, just to ensure that you have enough clearance so that you can do so on your own property without needing to get onto another property. It's easier for multiple reasons.
On the north side, near the fire station. The well's there and these retaining walls.
Okay, so this is property that I'm sorry, where's the stream? The stream is here. Okay, so this is state property. This is part of the Gold Preserve. So
That's understood.
I mean, we can Move it.
Just as like a best practice, it's usually recommended, so you don't need to.
We'll take a look at it and
Yeah,
see what.
if possible.
I know a lot of the locations of the septic and
The
the
state
well.
might never know.
Right, and I know a lot of this was done to achieve the compensatory storage for the floodplain, as well as the required separations for the septic, the well, and any drainage structures in that area.
How tall is the tallest retaining wall?
Looks to be about 5 feet.
Uphill side.
What are you talking, the tallest on this property line or the tallest just in general?
I mean, property line and in
I think we're
general.
approaching seven
7.5
feet
feet there.
on this back retaining wall that goes into the hill.
Great.
That looks 77. So that's about 5-6 feet along the property line in the highest location. But that will also be screened by vegetation and evergreen trees.
So the setback line is marked in dash, in the dash line, is that correct?
Correct.
And that patio that's rendered there is over the setbacks
Correct.
and attached to the building.
Sorry?
It is attached to the building. Footings, concrete.
No, it'll be on its own separate concrete slab, which may be connected to the building at the frost wall, but that's just the standard pad design.
The well hasn't been built yet? That's the proposed well site?
Correct, there needs to be a new well. And that, after we get planning and zoning approval, then we can have that in for review with the health department. And the health department was present when we were doing our test bits for the septic system, and they're aware of the existing conditions of the site and the soil.
Is that area below is that the access to the gold preserve? Is that what that
The
is?
road that's shown, yeah.
Oh, the road, okay. I see. And the drainage that's you have collected, does that go under the building to get down into the brook?
No, it'll go under this area.
Where you have the retaining pond?
Oh, sorry, this catch basin will collect water as it raises. It'll go into the system and then it pipes down out into Mill Brook.
And what about the other way?
This is a catch basin here that's
Don't go down on the other side of the building.
That's the
This is just catching stuff, stormwater flowing from the hill on the south side.
Now, where does it go to?
This goes to the detention area, and then when it builds up, it'll also go into this structure and out to Mill Brook. So all stormwater from this site will eventually reach Mill Brook.
I'm sure the
It doesn't
people
have
in
much-
West
it doesn't have
Cornwall are
much
true.
choice.
No, it doesn't. And under existing conditions, there's essentially no drainage structures, no water quality, and everything's getting into Mill Brook anyway.
Just for the record, just for the record, because I took this to the Inland Wetlands Commission the other night, and the minutes of the meeting reflect the fact that at least one person in attendance, called Chairman Hedden, addressed the difference in the configuration of the whole area as to the cut and fill for various structures, including the firehouse, in which that's why the floodplain elevation maps do not seem to correlate to what you see on the ground, as was very obvious when I was there in July looking up.
Yep.
The floodplain was down there. Yeah. So the Inland Wetlands Commission, who has jurisdiction under floodplain, completely understand how hard you are trying to address floodplain, even though it might not be such an issue.
Thank you.
You know, the buildable area assessment was done on the lot.
This,
It's pre-existing.
I believe this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot.
And could you address the lot line adjustments as well, too, because there's swapping of land for the Cornwall Conservation Trust?
Correct, it's not fully depicted on here, but the existing property line comes back to somewhat of a triangle at the corner here. So this back area,
I do have the survey.
in the
front?
Yeah, it'll be all the way to the front pretty much.
On this side.
So this corner of the lot is being given over to the Conservation Trust in exchange for this strip along the southwestern side. And we're maintaining the setback requirements based on the new lot line.
You all received those.
Yep.
Yeah. He was just saying it's small, and I said we have it.
No.
Any other questions, commissioners?
This probably isn't relevant, but to anything, but how big is the drain under the Route 7 on Mill Brook, or under the 125?
You mean culvert there?
The culvert.
It's not.
Sure, I've been using this project fairly recently. It's not big, but it's big. Yeah.
It's not, it's really not doing anything.
I know.
I can't seem to read the elevation on this, I'm just curious, the elevation on the high side here, it says that it's 7.
We're 807, 808
And then what's the lowest part?
down here.
Yeah, fair enough.
At the detention, 781.
Last chance, commissioners, before I give the audience a chance.
That's not the highest part of the hill, that's where we're picking up the regrading.
Parkings?
Sorry.
Yep, we're
Back a
showing
little bit.
19 parking spaces.
And is it not, you had mentioned it's not asphalt? What's
Correct, it's going to be everything will be gravel.
It's gravel now too, right?
Correct.
You said that the lighting was full cutoff.
Yes.
What does that mean? It's recessed?
It means the fixtures are capped, so there's no light pollution into the sky.
There's a hood that comes down that blocks it from going up and out.
Yeah, so depending on property line restrictions, sometimes they'll put a cap on the back of it, sometimes it'll just be on the top to prevent it from moving north.
Oh, so it's more than just a recessed light, it's a shield down below the recessed light?
It can be.
Yeah, it's shielded on the sides where it's abutting the property lines, and it's always shielded on the top to prevent light leakage up into the
And
sky.
you don't have security light that lights the entire parking area?
There are light poles within the parking area. Correct.
Is there an erosion and sedimentation control plan in association with this?
Yes.
I apologize, I just received this
Sure.
evening.
Those are just mostly some adjunct plans, and the cover sheet of that will show the revisions pertaining to the parking area.
Okay, good to see that.
I can just,
Yeah, I can pull it up here.
way too
No,
many
it's all
words in
good.
that.
Yeah, it's okay, but I'll get a copy of it.
And those are dumpsters, is that what that is?
Correct, these are dumpsters that are going to be on a concrete pad.
And what's behind it?
This is a retaining wall, but it'll be a fenced enclosure.
Thank you.
The lot line adjustment isn't impacting the other lot to the extent that it becomes non-conforming, right?
Well, it's Conservation Trust land.
So it's under the big reserve.
Perfect.
So,
Just asking, it's a big.
It's a good question.
That's why the application is co-signed by Blue Hill and Town Cornwall because of the use of this building for town function, which is the dog pound. And the use of land in lease for 99 years. Is it acre and a half, something like that?
There's an additional acre and a half that we're leasing from the Conservation Trust for 90 years.
Correct.
But that is not any buildings, it would just have a fenced play area for dogs. No structure.
Are you saying? I didn't hear you.
No structures, we're leasing an acre and a half for 99 years as in addition from the Conservation Trust, but there won't be any structures, there'll just be a fenced area for dogs.
So this big drain installation is not on that land?
No.
The leased area is up the hill. Yeah.
That was in a package.
The lease document was in the package,
Yeah.
because that's how they are co-signing because this impacts
Right.
their, yeah, their property.
For the sake of the audience, Karen didn't mention it, but the Little Guild has been the town of Cornwall's official dog pound since about 2011. And the state of Connecticut requires all municipalities to have a dog pound. So we have saved ourselves, the taxpayers, a lot of money. I'm now going to ask anybody in the audience who wishes to speak to come forward. You gentlemen can take a break and sit down. Thank you.
Mark?
Jerry?
Thank you for having us. I spent 40 years going to meetings with Dr. Tamel. I never thought I'd be back here doing it. I've been a Cornwall resident since 2020 and got involved with the Guild as a consumer probably about 15 years ago. I've adopted many animals and then have had the pleasure of working with them for about the last 10 years. It's a wonderful group. We've done some great work over the last 2 years. It's an excellent plan. I'm very happy with it. But I'm really standing here just to thank you for your consideration and the time that you've been giving us.
Can I ask who you are for the record?
Oh, Jerry Roth.
Never even occurred to me since I know who you are. Anyone else? You will take your.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Chuck Short. I live at 432 Cornwall Hollow Road. And I've been involved on board the Little Guild for about 7 years now, almost. Just stepped down as treasurer this a few weeks ago, after about 6 years in that position. And ever since I've been involved in the organization, it is a great organization, and I'm sure you're all familiar with it.
Could you move your behind away
Oh,
from
I'm sorry.
the
Video.
I apologize for Richard. Maybe I'll step further here.
That's perfect. Right
Okay,
there is
thank
great.
you. Apologies. Apologies that my back is to you now. It's obviously got tremendous goodwill in this community, and it became very apparent when I first came on board that the old building just didn't work functionally. And the real issue was how can we create a building that really makes sense. We spent really several years figuring out a program for the new building that really takes into account what animal shelters across the country are doing. I view this, I think we all do, as really being a civic building. It's not a town of Cornwall building, but I view it as really being an important new civic building that really focuses on the human-animal bond, the importance of this organization to families. The section of the building has 3 volumes that faces the road. It's a community building, community center that will be used for education, teaching school groups, many public functions. And we've spent really several years coming up with what we think is a really terrific design. It's a complicated site. It's been a complicated process, and with the temporary siting, it's been a long haul. But anyway, I think we're getting close to it. So I wanted to speak very much in favor of this building, and also to again thank all of you all for spending so much time trying to understand the complexities of what we're doing here. So thank you all. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you for that. Anybody else? Any further questions from the commission?
I just want to verify that certified letters went out to all the abutting neighbors, and we received a certification that everybody received their letters, so that bit of noticing was complied with because it is a modification to a special permit, so that is part of the record as well.
If you'd like those, I have copies.
She'll need those. James, your mouth is full, you're not going to be able to.
Calling it out.
I would accept a motion to close this public hearing.
Move to accept, to close this.
Seconded by Bruce Bennett. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye or put your hands up so we can see. That's a unanimous decision. The public hearing is closed. Unfortunately for those present, we're not going to be discussing the pending application until after the next two public hearings are completed. All right, we'll amend the agenda. Could I have a motion to amend the agenda to skip down to pending applications number 4, SP 260, Little Gill, Town of Cornwall? So moved by Steve, seconded by Bruce. All in favor, raise your hands. Okay, we'll move on to making a decision. Anybody want to say something?
Well, yeah,
They did a very nice job in their presentation.
it's a lovely building. Obviously, a structure has a roof. I'm just trying to think about what it means to have a part of the structure. Even though it doesn't have a roof, it is part of the structure, this big concrete structure over setbacks.
She's talking about the porch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's the?
She's concerned about the porch is on the setback.
Over the setback.
It's a patio.
So.
Is a patio, did we define patios as structures? Do they require zoning permits?
They typically do not.
They typically do not.
I think it was only if they were connected to the building.
Right, so it's not a freestanding patio. Is it part of the building? Is it part of the structure, or is it?
The architect should answer that question. Is the patio a freestanding structure or part of the building?
Will it be poured at the same time the building is poured, and will it be?
Sorry, we closed this public hearing, we can't talk.
Oh yeah, we can. I'm so sorry.
I would reread the definition of structure in the zoning regulations.
Sorry, I'm tired.
I have
I'm
read.
having a hard time keeping track.
And so I understand that a structure is.
This is just part of the commission discussion.
Yeah, you're all set there.
Sorry.
Why didn't you ask that question before we closed the public hearing?
She actually did.
You did.
I did.
But you didn't get an answer that you...
Well, I just asked if the patio was attached to the building.
The response was that it was unattached.
It's its own pad.
It's its own pad.
That will be doweled or pinned to the building?
Not necessarily.
Maybe.
He indicated that it was not attached to the building. It was a separate pour.
That's how he responded.
I guess I'm thinking about future patios. I mean,
Normally,
this is
like a patio, you don't have to.
permit them?
No, I never got a zoning permit for my patio.
No
So-
problem if I pour a concrete structure off the back of my house up to my property line.
No, you can even play grass at your property line if you want.
We
You
had
see,
this discussion when we were talking about
but we're
whether
talking
it was
about-
or was not a building.
We're talking about a site plan. This would be an approval of the site plan as submitted in reference with the information in the record that is not considered a structure. We have to deal with the site plan that we're looking at, not what ifs on everybody else.
Yeah, that is correct.
No, but
That is
okay.
correct. We
But I'm
can't...
just saying, is it part of the building, is my question.
I would say from what he
I
said.
think
no.
we're all
No.
telling you no.
Okay.
We're all allowed to ask whatever questions we think are important. So I'm not criticizing the question.
Sound like you are.
I know, but I'm getting tired and grumpy.
It's late to make it.
Okay, any other comments or questions, commissioners? Any discussion amongst ourselves, concerns that we have, or...
I think it's a real need, and it's something that's been a long time coming. It's wonderful that they're,
Yeah.
you know, putting this effort and energy and money into it. Thank you.
So did we have a motion to approve, or didn't we? No.
So it's going, so the motion that would be tendered would be to approve as per the site plan, with references to the site plan, as per the oral and written testimony, and as per the narrative submitted by Karen to modify the special permit, which addresses educational uses and all the things that the building is going to include.
Well, you can write that up in the minutes.
I move that we approve special permit 260 Little Gill Town of Cornwall Conservation Trust applicants per the written and oral testimony and the site plan and educational value per
as per the narrative, yeah.
As per the narrative,
yeah.
In keeping with our town plan of conservation and development and abiding by our regulations.
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? In that case, all in favor, raise your hands. Thank you very much. You are all part of a beloved institution in Cornwall. You have done a super job. Thank you very much.
We're really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
What a pleasure dealing with the entire team that you have pulling together.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got a great architect, a great engineer, so thank you.
So people who don't want to stay for the discussion of amendments to our zoning regulations, would you please step out?
You still want this recorded, right?
I think we can get started while they're finishing up. They're not going to disturb us. So I'm now opening public hearing for amendments to the zoning regulations, Article 10.1, accessory apartments and apartment uses. I'm Anna Tamel, Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The time is 9:27 p.m. We have Janelle Mullen, Land Use Consultant, Karen Nelson, Zoning Enforcement Officer, regular member Stephen Sicardi. We have alternate Bruce Bennett seated for Keith Bodwell. We have regular member Christine Gray, regular member Phil West, alternate Will Evans, regular member James Laporta. The purpose of the zoning amendment is to increase the possibility for residents to create increased housing in town by building accessory dwelling units on their property. Accessory dwelling units are the new term for what we used to call accessory apartments. The Connecticut legislature last year amended their statutes to concerning accessory dwelling units, and by considering this amendment, one of the things we'll be doing is bringing our regulation in line with the state requirement, particularly in relation to parking. I'm not going to read the amendment out loud. Should I?
I believe it's been posted and circulated.
It's been posted and circulated to the public and amongst the commission. So I will instead ask if there are any comments from the audience. I see one person who's been waiting patiently all evening, and Jenny Block will now stand up.
Thank you, Anna. Hi, I'm Jenny Block, 75 South Road. I think you all actually have a copy of my letter. I'm also the president of Cornwall Housing Corporation, and I really don't want to keep you any longer, so I just want to thank you personally for all the attention that you've given to accessory dwelling units and for the attention you'll give to affordable housing in the future. And hopefully next time I talk to you, it'll be 2.5 hours earlier.
Thank you very much for those comments. I don't think there will be.
I do have a letter that Maggie Cooley left with me.
Yes.
If you don't mind. She writes, to the Planning and Zoning Commission, first some questions to be sure I'm understanding what has changed. 10.1C, does in all zones include the GB zone? If not, should you add residential? If so, how does it dovetail with 10.3? I suggest that in 10.1.A and B, and in 10.1.C3, those terms defined in Article 3, plot plan, site plan, should be consistently capitalized for uniformity and to indicate clearly where a full-blown Article 8 site plan is required. And she continues on to say, thank you for your work in making the creation of accessory dwelling units much simpler in terms of location, definition, and process. ADUs have historically been the quickest and cheapest route to augmenting affordable housing stock, as well as being most invisible and thus less likely to provoke hostility. The revisions to the old accessory apartment regulation now permit them in all zones and remove restrictive provisions about owner occupation and exterior appearance, neither of which are probably legal anymore. It is a great improvement that the first ADU inside an existing dwelling can be made with a simple zoning permit application, and the ability to use the special permit process to put in a second one or create one in an accessory building is also welcome. It seems like a good balance between the need for housing and a measured oversight of the increased density allowed. Margaret Cooley, December 12, 2023. I'll submit that for the record.
Thank you for that. Somebody prompt me what we should do next. My mind's a blank.
Close the public hearing.
Close the hearing?
Okay. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Moved by James, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. We will now move on to our next regulatory amendment public hearing, and that is to add a definition for a buildable area. This definition was accidentally omitted when we did our general reformat. So we're now just correcting that, and the definition to buildable area shall read, a rectangular area of lot with a minimum dimension of 100 feet per side that contains no wetland soils, water bodies, water courses, utility and/or access easements, rights of way, or any naturally occurring slope exceeding 25% as measured by using 2-foot intervals. All buildings, except for accessory buildings that are less than 250 square feet, shall be located within a buildable area. As there is no one in the audience to provide any comments, I would accept a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Phil, seconded by Bruce. All in favor, hands up. All right, we're going to move on to the rest of our agenda, and we are going to hopefully move quickly.
Hold that one. I'd be happy to. I saw you burying it. The meeting kept going. I might have an extra copy.
Isn't two pending applications, which are regulatory changes?
Can I make a motion?
Please go ahead and
To
make it.
approve the minutes as distributed from our November 28, 2023 special meeting.
We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Go, Phil.
And who seconded that? James or Christine? All in favor, just say aye. Aye. Somebody give me an agenda.
How come they're all buried?
We're on new applications now.
Nice. Okay. We're now on
New applications.
new applications. There are none. We're going to move on to pending applications. We have closed the public hearing. I would suggest that we delay our discussion of the Ridgeway special permit until our next meeting.
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
When is our, Janelle, please remind me, when is our deadline of when we need to have that done by?
So you've closed the hearing. You
Yep.
now need to make a decision within 65 days.
Oh.
So you have a nice, take a breath, 65
Okay.
days.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to clear up.
December 21 was your deadline for closing the hearing. Yeah, exactly.
So our next meeting is Tuesday, January 9th, and I suggest we continue our discussion of that application at that time. This would definitely be the wrong time.
Do we need to make a motion on that or anything?
No.
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 Okay.
Just
Yep.
no discussions otherwise.
Okay. Continue not to talk about it.
Continue to not,
Correct.
yeah, mum's the word.
No sidebar conversations. All right, so then we're moving down to our accessory apartment regulatory amendment. I will accept a motion to pass this amendment based on the Cornwall 10-year town plan, which emphasizes the need for housing as, oh, yeah, whatever.
Can I just ask, because if I remember correctly, there is we need to, in this motion, state a date at which it becomes effective?
Thank you very much, Phil.
Getting to that.
Yeah. And the new regulation will go into effect on January 1st, 2024.
Made my day.
Okay. And that'll apply for the next one too, I won't ask again.
January 1st, 2024.
I love it.
I will make a motion to add the amendment for accessory apartment and apartment uses as proposed, effective January 1st, 2024.
Okay. With an amendment to a zoning regulation, you have to justify that it is in accordance with the town plan of conservation.
I think James just did.
Karen will write up the motion.
Per town of conservation, which emphasizes the increased
The need for
housing
increased housing.
Yes.
Diversity.
And affordability.
Yeah, there you go. Housing, diversity, and affordability.
We need a
Any
second.
discussion?
Second.
I second.
She did, okay. Chrissy, all in favor, raise your hands. It's a unanimous decision. The amendment to add a definition.
James?
I move that we amend the zoning regulations, Article 3, the definitions to the revised buildable area, stating that all, as written per, and that's in keeping with our town regulations. previous town regulations, and also in keeping with our
Consistency
town
and clarity
and
with-
development, as
Consist-
well as consistent with
Clarity.
we got approval at the local government level. What's the entity formally called?
Northwest Hills
They
College.
just said it was not inconsistent with anything.
Perfect.
Second.
All in
Effective
favor?
date.
Effective date January
1st, 2024. All in favor? Hands up. Aye,
Aye.
she said. That passes unanimously. I would, there's no correspondence or communications listed.
There was, in your packages, there was 2 pieces of correspondence that Anna and helped me with to Nancy Berry. I think they're on the back.
Oh, yes, there was the letter from Nancy Berry that we responded to. Thank you.
acknowledge that correspondence was in there. Thank you, Anna, for helping me out with,
Okay.
yeah.
We do have to acknowledge correspondence. And would there have been a list of correspondence related to the public hearing?
It will all be within the public hearing.
It'll be within the
Yeah.
public hearing minutes itself.
Because this was not directly related, this was for clarity on terms.
Okay.
Got it.
Perfect. For all days.
Somebody was going to make a motion.
Let's see, January, we gonna do that Zoom meeting, or is that gonna be?
Great question, great question.
Phil is going to answer that.
I have been trained. We can do it as a hybrid meeting at the library.
Perfect. And I don't think we have any public hearings that
We
night.
do have to do a setup a little different. We're gonna have to put the table at the opposite side of the room.
Yeah.
But I have been
You're
shown how
still
to
talking
use
to
it.
this man.
Will you for sure be
that
there
it?
based on the schedule?
Is that it,
January
Anna?
9th?
January 9th.
I will confirm it for you, but I can't imagine I'm anywhere else.
That's it, Anna?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I move
the
that we
meeting's
adjourn.
over.
Seconded?
Did we adjourn yet?
I don't think so.
We're getting there.
Well,
So
I'm
we're
still
adjourned
recording.
to January.
Second, say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
But you cannot leave. I have some I have some things.
Okay, the
for
meeting
you.
is over.
Yes.
The meeting is over. And Richard?
Richard gets to leave.